Hey guys, welcome back. As always, my name is Leyzar, and today is finally time to tackle the Riven Dispo changes that occurred in December with the Empyrean patch. But before we get into it, one thing you gotta keep in mind, we still got no melee Riven Disposition changes. Those will come in January if I remember correctly. And also, it's the very first time these balancing dispositions per weapon instead of per family tree. Now what does that mean exactly? Where, for example, you can use the same Braton Riven on all of the Braton weapons just as before, but it will take different values on your Braton Prime, different values on your MK1 Braton, and different values on your Braton. The same type, for example, if your Riven is rolled with critical chance, critical damage, then you're gonna have critical chance, critical damage on all of the weapons, but the values themselves will differ depending on the individual weapon Riven Dispo. Did that make any sense? Anyway, I hope it did. So let's jump right into primary weapons. By the way, link in the description down below for this full article. The Acceltra gets hit hard. That is a hard hit, down from 1 to 0.8. You're looking at Riven Disposition 2 out of 5. And yes, you will feel this one. It's a 20% nerf, essentially. Argonac gets an increase. The Argonac is a fantastic weapon. I honestly love it, but not all that many players use it. Link in the cards right now for a full tutorial on this one. The Acceltra everybody uses because it's such a powerful weapon. The Boar got an increase, but not the Boar Prime. You see that? No mention of the actual Boar Prime, but when you get to the Bolter, you got the Bolter, Telos Bolter, and Bolter Prime. And as you can see, the changes are mostly similar, but the highest Riven Dispo, of course, will be on the normal Bolter, which nobody uses. Why would you when you have the Telos version, which is the crit version, and the Prime version, which is the status version? I love the Bolters because they allow you to stick your enemies to wall like a Dracula. Anyway, Braton, MK1 Braton, and the Braton Vandal, exactly what I was telling you guys earlier. Again, different Riven Disposition depending on the weapon that you're using, with the highest one, of course, being the MK1 Braton at 1.35. So now, your MK1 Braton has Riven Dispo 5 out of 5, but your Braton Vandal has 4 out of 5. You get it? Something like that. Burston gets an increase. This will not help the Burston. God can help the Burston. Cernos, Rakta Cernos, and the Cernos Prime. Now, which exactly is the most powerful Cernos? I'm not gonna say because somebody will get offended either way, but I will say that the Rakta Cernos and the Cernos Prime are roughly on equal footing. My favorite remains the Rakta Cernos. A small increase on these, my friends. You're not really gonna feel 0.05 extra on your Riven Disposition. The Daikyu. They nerfed the Daikyu. Well, come on, you saw this one coming. This one can actually hunt Eidolons. Don't believe me? One shot, guarantee each and every single time with the Daikyu. Link in the cards right now for a full tutorial on that one. You got the Dera with a slight increase. Nothing about the Dera Vandal. The Dread gets an increase. I love the Dread. It's still my favorite bow in the game, and this will actually... Here's the thing. There was a battle of some sort between the Dread and the Daikyu for the quote-unquote best bow in the game. Now it's pretty hard to say which exactly is the best. You guys, which are, well, actually smart, know that it depends on your application and what you want to use it for. But this one, this very small Riven Dispo increase might push the Dread in front of the Daikyu. We'll have to check and see. Now this one hurts. It hurts me, it hurts you, it hurts everybody. 0.8 to 0.65 on the Fulman. The Fulman, since it was released, it basically took the place of the Arca Plasmor because it's better. And the Fulman is one incredible weapon which I highly recommend. 0.65 instead of 0.8. Yeah, you will definitely feel this one. I think the Riven Disposition now is 1. It might actually be 2, but no more than 2. The Glax got an increase from 1.25 to 1.3, but again, the Glax, not the Glax Vandal. The Gorgon and the Gorgon Wraith, nothing about the Prisma Gorgon. Some buffs on these. The Gorgon Wraith isn't really as good as the Prisma, but it's a close second. So there you go. Prisma Grakata got a buff from 1.15 to 1.2. Yeah, again, you're not really gonna feel it. Grinlock got a buff, nobody cares because again, this is not the Prisma Grinlock, and even if this had max Riven Dispo, you still wouldn't use it over the Prisma. There's just a huge gap between these weapons. The Heck, yeah, oh yeah, the Heck got an increase. I love the Heck. Okay, I'm sorry, I just love the Heck to death. It's a fantastic starter shotgun. If you're new to Warframe and somehow you managed to stumble onto this vid for some reason, link in the cards right now for your starter weapon. Mwah! The Heck is absolutely beautiful. And the Riven Dispo change will help us get to the magic 100% true status chance build. If you want to build it like that, a whole lot easier than before. Not only that, but also the Vapor Heck gets an increase as well. Not to 1.1 to only 1, but it's still something. With the Vapor Heck is a whole lot more easier because on the Vapor Heck, critical chance builds are actually viable. Not so much on the Heck, so bear that one in mind. Yes, the Vapor Heck is more powerful than the Heck, even though I am a bigger fan of the lower MR version. The Hema got an increase. Yay, Hema. Ignis! No way they buffed the Ignis! Why did they buff the Ignis? I don't know, but yay, they buffed the Ignis. You're not really gonna feel it in your Riven, so forget about it. The Carrack got a buff, but not the Kuva Carrack. Again, different things. Kuva Carrack is still Riven Dispo, 3 out of 5. The Comorex, I don't even want to hear about it. The Lanka got a buff. No way. What is going on here? I tell you what is going on. Once upon a time, as in a year or something ago, the Lanka was the meta weapon to go Eidolon hunting with, but a whole lot more weapons have appeared since then, and a lot different methods to hunt Eidolon. We don't no longer just use Chroma. We can use Ivara, we can use Volt, we can use Mirage Prime, and so on and so forth. The Lanka simply lost its appeal because it's still a charge weapon. It's still projectile based, so there you go, a buff on the Lanka. More than welcome from my point of view because it was losing ground compared to the competition. The Latron. The Latron needs God. The Latron Wraith also needs God. These are old weapons, that's the problem. When it comes to the functionality of these weapons, these are semi-automatic true blue weapons launched 5 years ago, something like that. They're simply not up to snuff with the current meta, if you will, in Warframe. We got more powerful weapons, more dynamic weapons that do different things better, and they just feel better than the Latron series. From my point of view, I would rework the whole Latron series, but that's just me. The lens got an increase, so enjoy, my friends. The lens is a fantastic weapon. You can AoE blow your enemies up, it's a whole lot of fun, but of course, you can blow yourself up as well. The Nagantica got an increase. I do like the Nagantica, but when it comes to crossbows, we got better options than it. You can go for the Attica or the Zuge Prime. Opticor Vandal! What? The Opticor Vandal got a nerf? I can't believe it. People actually use this thing. That's awesome. Then it means that it did what it was meant to do. It got more people interested in this weapon. It's a photon cannon. It's beautiful. Link in the cards right now for a full review on the Opticor Vandal. Personally, I still prefer the regular version, but that's just me. The Paris, the MK1 Paris. Okay, nothing about the Paris Prime, so moving on. The Penta also got an increase, but nothing about the Secura Penta. The Quanta, nothing about the Quanta Vandal. These are very small increases, as you can see. 0.05 or 0.1 in the case of the MK1 Paris. From my point of view, it's not enough to make these weapons relevant, simply because their base stats are way too low. If this was an increase on the Vandal version, then sure. The Rubico got an increase, which is fantastic for lower MR players looking to get into Eidolon hunts. This does not mean that the Rubico Prime status disposition has been increased, only for the Rubico. Simulor and Sinoid Simulor. You can't stop screaming at me. I know I haven't reviewed this weapon. It's a bit intimidating. Promise I will. Snipetron, but nothing about the Snipetron battle. Soma Prime! Soma Prime, back in the heyday, was the assault rifle to have. But then we got 1,000 more assault rifles, which can basically outpace the Soma. But that doesn't mean that this is not a strong weapon. Again, I do recommend, if you're looking for something standard, a normal assault rifle, the Soma Prime is definitely one great option. And a better option would be the Prisma Gorgon. So there you go. Increase for the Stradivar, nothing for the Stradivar Prime, so moving on. The MK1 Stern and the Stern, nothing about the Stern Wraith. Here's the thing about the Stern Wraith. A lot of veterans say that it's a gem in the rough, and you know what? They're 100% right. The Stern Wraith is an outstanding shotgun with high Riven Dispo. So if you want something like that, go for the Stern Wraith. You get the blueprint, you get the components by doing invasions, or you can simply trade for them on the trade chat. The Sombra Vandal got an increase. Hooray, my friends! But it's only 0.05, so there you go. The Dex C-Bodies as well as the C-Bodies Prime got an increase, got a nice versus video between these two. These are strong primary weapons. The problem is their burst. If you're into burst weapons, then you're gonna be loving your time with these two. The Tenora got an increase, which is fantastic. The Tenora is sort of a minigun of sorts with a really cool alternative fire. It kind of launches one big ass projectile that deals a whole lot more damage. I do love the Tenora, and I'm happy to see the increase. But again, 0.05. A lot of buffs. Very interesting, isn't it? The Tiberon got an increase, not the Tiberon Prime. The Tigris and the Sancti Tigris. Here's the thing, if the Sancti Tigris Riven Disposition gets high enough, it can actually overtake the Tigris Prime, mathematically speaking, but it's gonna take a whole lot more than 0.6. Vectis Prime, yes, they buffed my Vectis Prime. Here's the thing, the Vectis Prime is a great weapon to hunt Eidolons with. It's not the best weapon, definitely not, but it still is my favorite. So there you go, you can rapid fire with this one, and I do love the Vectis Prime. Suge got an increase, not the Suge Prime, and the Volcar got an increase, not even the Volcar Wraith. So that's pretty much it for primary weapons. That's a lot of buffs, definitely. But let's jump into the secondary weapons as one, since this video is already dragging on more than I would like. The A Furus got an increase, fantastic Lazar, but where's the Dex Furus? The Dex Furus is by far more powerful, and it's not on the list at all, so you can expect the same Riven Dispo of 1.39. Bolto, Telos Bolto, and Bolto Prime. Now, the Bolto Prime remains my favorite secondary weapons to this day. It's not an easy weapon to use, but it's extremely satisfying when you get it right. 0.05, a very small increase for the Bolto Prime, and again, you're not really gonna feel 0.05, but you will feel 0.15. Unfortunately, the normal version of the Bolto is simply too weak to use. Now, speaking about too weak, the Bronco and the Bronco Prime. I'm sorry, you're gonna need Riven Dispo 2 or 3 or something stupid like that to actually make people play with these weapons. Sure, there might be a couple of guys in the back, sorry for offending you, Bronco is great. I actually got a Prime, still a very powerful secondary weapon, and this small nerf will not change that. The Lex got a minor buff, 0.1 extra. The Axomati, 1.25, 0.05 extra. Now, up until this point, Prime weapons that come into the game, and we're gonna be getting the Axomati Prime with Ivara Prime, took the Riven Disposition of their normal existing counterpart. So if the Axomati Prime takes the Riven Disposition of 1.25 of the normal Axomati, then we got a couple of months of enjoying that fantastic secondary weapons. But if it doesn't, and if they introduce it with 3 out of 5, just like for any brand new weapon added to Warframe, then it's still good. 3 out of 5 is still good, so by all intents and purposes, my friends, get yourself an Axomati Riven for the Axomati Prime. But don't pay something stupid like 500, 600, 700 plat. Anyway, you do what you want, I would never pay more than 300 for a Riven. Axkilero and Axkilero Prime. Once upon a time, the Axkilero Prime was the secondary weapon to have. It has been outclassed by many others. This buff will not change that. The Agvasto, the Angstrom, the Arcasisco. Oh, the Arcasisco. I actually love this weapon. It's a scoped secondary weapon, so that definitely can come in handy, especially when it comes to doing some very specific Riven challenges. So bear that one in mind, you should have it in your arsenal. And you know what? Once it gets revved up and all whatnot with the target analysis thing that it has, it can deal a serious amount of damage, and I'm happy to see the buff. Ballistica, Rakta Ballistica, and Ballistica Prime. Now, these are some very quirky weapons, and I still feel that, I don't know, I like the Ballistica Prime simply because it spawns a ghost. Can you blame me? Again, a very small Riven Disposition increase. The normal version of the Ballistica is not worth using, but the Prime and the Rakta definitely are. The Bronco. Castanas! No Sancti, but you can use the normal version of the Castanas to proc electricity on yourself with Lady Mirage and go Eidolon hunting, so there you go. The Cyanix got another nerf. Why? Oh, console, I guess. The Cyanix is a very popular weapon on console for obvious reasons. The Cycron got an increase, the Detron, not the Mara Detron, the normal Detron. Dual Sestra, not the Secura Dual Sestra, Dual Toxosist. Ooh, this might actually be worth retesting. I'll check this one out. The MK1, come on, really? The Gamma Core, no, the Sinoid Gamma Core. Yes, I still love this weapon, it's absolutely freaking fantastic. But now it does have some competition, so bear that one in mind. Still, I would encourage you to have the Sinoid Gamma Core fully built in your arsenal. It's a pretty decent secondary weapon, and it also comes with a very useful Syndicate proc, so bear that one in mind. Now the Gaze, well, here's the thing about the Gaze. When the kit guns were released with Fortuna and all whatnot, the Gaze was by far the weakest. Now they kinda tweaked it, it's not the Black Duckling anymore, but it's still far off from being the most powerful kit gun, but again, it is definitely worth having in your arsenal. When it comes to the Hiku and the Hiku Prime, however, we use these weapons just to do self-damage on Chroma, so there you go, this doesn't really matter. The Hystrix is a very special secondary weapon because it can manipulate, you can fully control the element you're gonna be proccing and shooting with, but as a power level, it's pretty weak in general, but it's still worth if you want condition overload combinations, so there you go. The Nell, here's the thing, not a whole lot of people use the Nell, as you can plainly see, we got a small increase on the Riven Disposition. But if you're the sharpshooter type, if you're the guy that always get headshots, you're gonna be loving your time with the Nell, especially on Harrow. The Leto got an increase, and the Cold Star, nobody cares. The Lex Prime got an increase. Actually, this is the Deagle of Warframe, and I still love this secondary weapon if you're looking for something solid. If you're the kind of guy that takes the Braton Prime with the Lex Prime into missions, then I don't blame you. They're extremely solid secondary weapons. They're more of the standard type of weapons, and I do welcome this buff. The Vacor Murloc, again, once upon a time was a fantastic weapon. It's not anymore. This will simply not change that. The Pandero got a small increase as well, 0.05. Again, you're not really gonna feel it, but I know one player which will love this change. It's got a very interesting secondary fire when you unload all of the bullets in rapid succession, but now you got a Kuva weapon which basically does the same, so the Pandero kinda lost a little bit of ground. Now, all of these buffs that you are seeing, both for primary and secondary weapons, from my point of view, this is a direct result of the Kuva weapons. Everybody's using Kuva weapons nowadays because, well, some of them are really heavy hitters, so there you go. The Piranha Prime gets yet another nerf. Now, it's not a huge nerf, but it's the 4th or the 5th one in a row, unless I miss my guess. Might I offer an alternative? Have a look at the Kuva Brack. Link in the cards right now for a full tutorial on that one. The Rattle Guts got a nerf. Surprising, it's a secondary automatic bullet hose, so there you go. If you're looking for something like that, the Rattle Guts got a small nerf, again 0.05 minus. The Sicaros Prime got a buff. The Sicaros Prime, once upon a time... I didn't even mean for that to happen, I'm sorry, was the best burst pistol, and it's still a heavy hitter. I love to see the Riven Dispo buff on this one, but I think it's currently vaulted, so getting a full set might be a bit difficult. The Sonic Core is an excellent crowd control weapon, and the Static Core can deal some heavy duty AoE damage, which is why I was looking for the Static Core, but it's not here. The Spectral Vandal, a Riven Disposition nerf from 1.46 to 1.4, again you're not really gonna feel this one. The Spectral Vandal actually challenges the Xenoid Gamma Core that we were talking about earlier. From my point of view, the Spectral Vandal is more powerful in terms of DPS, but it doesn't have a Syndicate proc, so there you go. I think you can mod it with a Syndicate mod. I might miss my guess and actually get a Syndicate proc. I reviewed this weapon like half a year ago. Spira, Stuba, Tombfinger gets a nerf because why wouldn't the Kid Guns get a nerf? Prisma, Twin hey, now it's personal. Now it's freaking personal. Why'd you have to touch the Prisma Twin Gremlins? I love these weapons. They're absolutely phenomenal. It's a projectile-based weapon though, but it's a projectile hose, so there you go. I still fully recommend these outstanding weapons, so when you see Battle Bring 'em, make sure you grab yourself a copy. Twin Vipers, nobody cares. Tysis. The Tysis got a nerf. Now, the Tysis is a weapon that can definitely pack a punch, but I never really liked how it looked. I know it's a pretty shallow reason not to like a weapon, but considering how many I got to choose from, if I don't like how it looks, I'm not gonna use it. The Vasto and the Viper. Not the Vasto Prime, not the Viper Wraith, so it doesn't really matter. Again, for these, if you want us to use them, maybe Riven Disposition of free will solve that. And I do believe, my friends, that is pretty much it. I gotta say, I love the idea behind balancing Riven Disposition around individual weapons instead of family of weapons. Perhaps some gems in the rough will emerge from this, and certainly we will get more weapon diversity. Not that we need anymore, I mean, come on, seriously, we got a ton and a half of weapons in Warframe, and we're getting new weapons all the time. But that's gonna do it for now. As always, my name has been Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. If you got any sorts of feedback for me, I would love to read it in the comment section down below. Until next time, my friends. Bye-bye.